At this point, I might just name this part Suffering. Because that's what I will go through in the last bonus stage. Where clearly, whoever made this just. Like, you make jokes about game designers being evil. Look at the first jump.
Yeah, that's a little goofy.
Like, and this isn't even one of those things where you're just like, I'm sure it's fine. Because look at what you have to do. I still just barely miss. This requires you to use all of the advanced tech that you've ever had to go and just progress in the stage. Normally. See, I had to wait until the last second.
There's something with that point in a game where the stages are just like single blocks on the screen. That's a little annoying sometimes.
Well, the issue, other than the whole single blocks thing, is the fact that between how they do enemy design and stage design, things get really claustrophobic, and trial and error isn't even the name of the game sometimes with March Tower, because it's like, yeah, I can see what I can do, but you're just demanding way too much of me. And let me put it this way. Anyone who decides to do this stage in Hell's Finest, send them to a doctor. Immediately. No one in their right mind would choose to do this. That is why the completionist can never do this game and count the DLC.
What's the differences between normal mode?
What do you mean?
What are the additions in Hell's Finest that make this more difficult?
Oh, you've forgotten? There is no addition in Hell's Finest other than the fact that you die in one hit.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay, yeah.
It's like, I cannot imagine. Like, the Marshall Tower not dying in one hit, I've seen it done before. And I thought that person was insane. But this, like, you can barely find a video on this. I mean, partially because it's DLC. But still, this is crazy. Forget Marshall. Forget doing it in Hell's Finest. Even the idea of getting an S rank on this thing is so impossible that I just have to look at it and be like, this is just entirely unfair, and the type of unfair that's just not worth it in any capacity. This stage is such an exception to everything I know and love about this game. That's like, in some ways, it actively makes it worse to consider it part of the game naturally. Look at this! Where am I supposed to go? I only make a guess. And that bounce was entirely unintentional, but I somehow dodged everything there. And I think even then I still fail afterwards due to something. And I hope it's not something stupid. You see how, especially with how, like, for example, that carpet is just placed in a way where standard jumps would make it hard. Oh my god, no! That was it! That was the thing, I was right there! Why didn't I wait? It would have been so simple to just wait. Oh man. And I didn't start spinning fast enough for that. When you have to redo things in this stage, it feels like you've lost that life.
Yeah, honestly, because it's I think I've said this to you already, where it's just like something feels so much different when suddenly, oh, you're redoing it rather than doing it for the first time.
Honestly, even with all the stuff that they could do, I want to. I know I'm probably never going to get this, but I really want to see the mindset behind this. Like, they have to pace these stages in a way that an S rank is at least feasible, yes? How do you do that with this? I want to see the person who playtested. Because, like, that the same thing came to my mind for Crash speedruns. Some of the Platinum speedruns that they have you do. And it's like, who did this? Who did this and then, like, did one person get through it? And they're just like, you could have made off some seconds there, thus I mean, this should be the standards.
I feel like DLC is, well, I mean, yeah, with Crash is different, but like for this, it's probably like DLC is given the opportunity to be unfair.
Oh my god, this part. I think, okay, I'll just bounce up with this or whatever. Oh, and it destroyed it, sure. Because the Incubuses also have the heart attack. But I was like, oh, this will respawn, so it's fine. It is not fine, because you think, okay, and then I go up here, that's fine. You still can't get up that way.
It's like, it's almost like why else would that be there?
It's there to help you get up so you don't have to use you don't have to stun one Incubus to use it.
Oh.
But the problem is that the respawn things are so inconsistent that only the higher Incubus is there, not the lower one. So I have to try and make do with that while it's shooting the most annoying attack ever at me. And hopefully not touch it to kill it, because one touch with it is just going to decimate the thing. And you hear that prompt, and I did that, but now I have to lure the thing over here. Still not high enough. And so I'm just waiting until the Incubus like comes back, but I don't know how to lure it properly. So I kill it, and then attempt to like respawn it. I assume that's what that long hallway is, because at the end of that hallway is nothing. But no, it doesn't come back. And so I just decide I'm exploding. I'm doing this over. I'm going to make the statement now. This is the only stage that I've ever recorded that has to be in 2 parts.
Oh, so we don't see the end of this stage.
No, we don't. There's just way too much. See, the thing will instantly kill them like that.
This kind of music is music to frustrate you. This isn't music to make you jam to in a really hard stage.
I think it's music from Makai Kingdom, honestly. Okay, did not intend to do that, but sure. And I love the Makai Kingdom soundtrack. But like, man, if they played like... You see the preciseness of this? And now you're back at this part, which means you would have to go through the Incubi again. So I decided, no, I'm just sacrificing a life. I'm not going back and do that. Like, come on, it's one life. What do you think I'm going to do? But that's still incredibly cruel.
Yeah.
It's just, you look at that and you just have to like wonder, like, what sort of despair did that person have to go through? And the fact that those guys are still up there and they can drill down if you're right below them, like that. I'm making sure at least they're dead here so that they don't interrupt anything that would stop me from going up, even though it's technically simple.
I mean, this is the kind of stage where, oh, that's a checkpoint.
Yes, it is. we've been getting them all game.
Yeah. This is the kind of thing where it makes sense that you're going to want to be extra careful.
I mean, the fact that I'm even... Okay, I don't know if this is a little early to do this, but something that I saw was the fact... Oh, just barely made it. The fact that you see all these enemies here? It's crazy. The fact that people have
why is a dying bunny rabbit used as the sound effect for that enemy?
Because it's a what's the word? Mandrake? Was it mandrake? You know, the plants that look like carrots but scream.
Okay.
That's an actual monster and stuff, so that's why they use it there. I probably should have killed that succubus. Oh, wait, no, it's stuck under there, so that's fine. What was I saying? Yeah. I went to the forums for the small amount of people who did this stage. And it is so crazy because there are people who spend hours on this, like constantly just trying to progress, and then gave up afterwards because they thought that the boss was impossible. And I don't blame them for thinking that, considering what the boss has you do.
Yeah, so the boss is not one of those things. It's one of those things where the boss is separately extremely difficult to the stage.
It literally has every possible problematic challenge a Prinny Can I Really Be the Hero boss can have. Other than... Well, actually no, the invincibility frames technically still are part of it. So, yeah, technically it has everything! Oh, that was a misclick. I just happened to press at the same time. That happens like 3 times during my thing, and I'm just... Oh, it gets me so mad. Because I don't remember ever misclicking like that in my old playthroughs. So I don't know, maybe it's a controller? As in, not the controller making the inputs, I mean like so much like the size of where the buttons are in relation to each other, etc.
Yeah.
But somebody I saw who says that they spent hours with the TV on and whatever doing all of this, that they lost, what was the count? 555 Prinnies. That is half of the lives of this entire game that they give you for a joke.
So, like, basically this will be unplayable in the main game.
This is what?
This would be unplayable outside of the Unlimited Lives DLC.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, well, okay. Well, the fact is it can be gotten through in the main game, technically. The only problem is that, like, if you're not good at Prinny, and you had to technically do this, like, I don't even know what you would do. I guess you wouldn't want to challenge this first anyways. But, the situation is that when you see all of this, and I'm like, okay, that's 500 of the lives they give you for a joke. Technically, for a good Prinny player, well, not even so much good, for an average Prinny player, you can expect to lose 200 to 300 lives in a standard playthrough, I think. So the idea that an entire standard playthrough for an average player, the amount of lives lost there is just the same amount for a player who is good enough to think that they can take on the DLC, and is only for the stage, and then that same amount of that same number of lives is lost during the boss. It's insane. Like,
So is it one of those games where if you die to the boss, I'm misremembering. You don't have to like start over the stage, right? You just start from the boss. Okay. Because that would be ridiculous.
Dude, no one would beat this stage if that was true. No one. The situation that I was trying to get at is that I use the auto explode button in that boss so much because I realized, like, okay, if I get hit too early, there is no way I'm surviving the second phase, so I'll just explode. And that's caused so many of my deaths. And at that point, who cares? I am not getting anything more than a D rank on this stage, so it shouldn't matter.
Oh god.
And here, I have to bait these guys to come down and then use them to get up.
So, if you were playing through the game and not doing any speedrun platform tactics, you just be completely lost in the DLC.
I wouldn't say completely lost, more like I'm sure like maybe eventually you'd figure something out. It would just take way too long for this type of game. Where just like, you would be treated like an actual like Zelda puzzle in terms of the length and the amount of brain power needed for it. You see the maneuvering I have to do here?
Speaking of Zelda, I'm at the point where if I see someone talking about Zelda games and they're only talking about the 3D games, I just close the video.
Really? What? I don't quite get it.
Zelda fans actually do just ignore the 2D games, like a lot of them. Especially Breath of the Wild fans. Where it's just like, Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, and Breath of the Wild are like the only Zelda games talked about.
Not even Majora's Mask?
I mean Majora's Mask as well, but I'm just like, if you're just even narrowing it down to like 3 games. Because I just saw a video today that was discussing like Link's relationship with Zelda in all the games, and it didn't talk about Spirit Tracks. It's like, this is just an incomplete video. This is just ridiculous. Like, I get if you're talking about the 3D games, if you're talking about a specific topic in the Zelda franchise, and you're missing out on something that big with another 3D game, it's like, I have no interest in these takes. And it's a shame, because the 2D games are very good. In a lot of ways, they're better than the 3D games, and so many Zelda fans just completely ignore them.
I've never seen that, honestly. That's weird hearing.
Yeah, I see it a lot. And maybe it's less than I realize. Because it's one of those things where it's like, I'm fully aware that the way Minish Cat fans would talk about how underrated the game is and it's extremely popular. And I'm one of those fans. So I'm sure like it's like a lot of, it has its place. Those games have their place in this franchise. But it does feel like there are some people who really, their engagement with Zelda begins and ends at the 3D games.
Do you see how high I have to get up with that one?
Yeah, I'm wondering if you're doing something fake.
No, this is just how
like,
you have to get up. This is the next path. Continue your Taja, I just had to talk about that one.
Oh no, I think that's the end of my point.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool things in 2D games.
I mean, part of the reason why...
Also, actually, another thing, I'm seeing a lot of people that's like, this is the first time it feels like Link and Zelda explicitly a thing when people are
That
talking about
is
Tears of the
incredibly
Kingdom.
dumb. That's incredibly dumb
And
to say.
that's a very strange thing to say because people have been saying that for like the past 6 games. People said that for Breath of the Wild. People said that for Skyward Sword. People said that for Spirit Tracks. It's really weird that people are still saying this is the first time. People said that for Wind Waker. It's odd.
Notice I have no idea where I'm going.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say.
But here's the thing. Here's the crying shame. I mean, other than the fact that I have to do this part again, watch what I have to do when I get up there. You just watch. But it is. I hate those type of statements the most because, in a way, it's like obviously ignorance, but I feel a sense of pretentiousness from it, and I don't think that's what it's there for. And it always feels like it. It's like they're saying this is the only game where it matters.
Yeah, but I feel like it's not pretentiousness, but like it's treating the rest of the franchise as just like not mattering, but not out of malice. Because I feel like if it happened in the next game, a lot of people would just say it's the first time again. Where it's just like the fact that it happened doesn't matter because it's all about it happening the newest time it happens or something like that. But there are, and this isn't a slight on Breath of the Wild fans, but there are a lot of Zelda fans that are really just Breath of the Wild fans and don't really like their engagement with Zelda begins and ends there. And
okay, we're here. Watch.
How would you know?
I explode prematurely because I think I did something wrong, but that was actually completely correct.
That's just dumb. This game is dumb.
So stupid. Knowing my look, I probably would have hit the side of the wall anyway since I was dashing.
There does get an error. There is an error. The stuff before wasn't good. These are finally like the real Zelda games, or like they don't matter as much, and it's just like, I'm not a huge fan of how that comes across.
I feel like this is one of those things where I've seen that happen individually on a lot of franchises before, but I can't obviously name. You see that? Because you're dashing, you have to do it at a specific angle where you will hit the hitbox of the edge to hang on, or else you will just bounce off, because that's what dashing into walls does. You don't get the normal hang time.
I want to say that's Pokemon. But I don't know, because there are probably a lot of Pokemon fans that
sounds about right.
That just like don't care at all about any game pre, say, Gen 4 because they think that the mechanics are too clunky.
Yeah, I can see that. Even though again, it's one of those things where like I can't bring it up to mind individually. And I realize that in that sense, considering how much you consume on the internet, it really isn't that bad that I can't think of it. Like, think of how much information I do retain.
And also, with the amount of stuff on the internet, it's probably just not a big deal that some people think that way. It's clearly not.
Probably like looked at it and was just like, this is stupid.
And just moved on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's more prevalent in Zelda, but also not prevalent enough where I should care.
Oh, you're still alive, Ninja. So glad you could still see your fat. Oh, come on!
This specific Prinny, because I'm headcanoning that it's the same Prinny the entire time.
I said it's plausible in the dimensional areas at least. And the DLC is a dimensional area, so it could just be one.
Yeah,
that was a mistake,
guy is just going insane. This guy is basically training to be as strong as I want to say Lelouch, but that sound right.
What?
Laharl.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Well, we technically already beat Laharl, we just didn't beat him at his prime, I guess.
Yeah, I guess this single Prinny has been training to be more powerful than Laharl.
Well, you'll see. Oh, did you see that tech? That was amazing!
I missed it. I accidentally swallowed my own
Oh,
spit
what?
and then choked on it and missed the cool tech.
Oh,
I
you're
don't know.
joking! Come
Yeah,
on,
that
man!
was very, very bad timing.
Okay. And now this guy won't rise anymore, so I have to manipulate him to do so. But he will go in. Darn it! He will go back in the shell really quickly, and then just go down. And then there's that arrow person that I've already
That's
triggered by
dumb.
accident.
That's the kind. That's like Dark Souls placement of an enemy. That's just
But that's just it. I triggered that the archer by accident, but I didn't know that they could adjust their targeting like that. They usually never do. Usually they target in very specific arcs. I'm not making that up. I'm sure that's how it used to be. But I guess the ones that live here are just like a new breed.